here from How to Sell Online, and yes, I'm in the kitchen today. What has the kitchen got to do with How to Sell Online? Well, it could have a lot to do with taking great photographs. Now, it may not be your kitchen, it's just a very useful workspace for me because I've got a lovely workspace here. It could be a garage, it could be an outbuilding, it could be part of a warehouse, your office, anywhere at all within the property that you operate your business from. Now, all you need to do is have a few bits and pieces of basic equipment to move forward. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through those with you on how to take some great photographs and also how to make some great video. So what I'm going to do now is pause this video at this point, and I'm going to make this area look a little bit different when you next look in a few seconds. One of the first things I've done is to create a white background. Now also on the desk, which you'll see in a moment or two, I've created a white background, and I've done that by using an extremely large, well-made white sheet. And it's a very white sheet, and it is one that I purchased with some lighting equipment, so it is the quality that you would expect to find as a backdrop in a photograph studio. Now, if you've got a lot of light coming through behind you, you might want to use a black sheet so that you've got a black background to block any light coming in behind you. What you need is forward-facing light, and I'll show you the setup with a photograph in a moment, but you need some forward-facing light, and you also need to remove as many of the shadows as you can from around the product, unless you want to have a shadow in there. So that's the first thing that I've done. Made a big difference. You can't see anything behind me. Now, I see a lot of people that take photographs of product, and some of them are more professional sellers. They don't pay attention to the background, so they would have had a photograph on the workbench, on the bench, on the desk, or in my case in the kitchen, and they would have had the whole background around it, or they may have gone away and tried to Photoshop it afterwards. That's quite a difficult thing to do, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend that you go and Photoshop every photograph, especially if you're only selling one item. It's best to get it right, and a little bit of investment, and it may not be a lot. It may be in a couple of sheets, white, black, whichever you need. It could be those. A decent little camera. Some of you have got probably iPhones and smartphones, but something like that is absolutely brilliant as a camera, and that one was not too expensive. And then the other thing that I will use quite often is a turntable, and you'll see this in action in a minute. And of course you can go to other lengths and you can buy yourself a light box, so something like that. Now, you can get those in all shapes and sizes. I've seen them where they are basically walk-in, so you could put a mannequin in there if you're a clothes seller, and you can create all the light that you want, and also it's absorbing all the additional light, so you can really brighten your product up by forcing light through where you need it and taking light away and filtering it out where you don't. Now, I'm not a photograph expert, however, I know enough to be able to go into a shop and find myself a camera. If I'm selling product, now let's say I'm selling large items, then I want a camera that's going to be able to take good quality shots, fairly close up, but pick up all the detail. Or let's say I'm selling jewellery, rings, earrings, items that are small but have got delicate, very, very delicate images and features. So then I'd probably want to get something like this, which I know will take good quality images at a very close range to really pull out the detail in your picture. So those are the types of things I'd be looking for. But now the smartphones, the iPhones, things like that, they do a fantastic job with those, and you're able to do an awful lot with them. So what I'm going to show you now is some of the ways of getting some decent photographs of product. And I'm just going to change the scenery a little bit more so that you can get a far better idea. See you in a moment. Now, what we've got here is a few things that I've put together to actually show you how we can make some photographs and some video. So let's first of all take some photographs of an item using a turntable. So turntable, something like this, you can pick up probably on eBay, for virtually nothing, a few pounds. Now, I purchased this on eBay a little while ago, and I purchased it for exactly what I'm saying, a few pounds. Now, I've got a little handheld device here, so I've got a grip here which I can also turn into a tripod, and this is excellent. Normally I'd use the big tripod, but the video camera that is recording this is standing on my big tripod. But to give you an idea, as this item is coming around, I might take a number of shots of it so that I can use those shots after I've edited them slightly in a video. Now, I'm not going to want all the shots as they go round, but I'm going to want a number of them so that it's going to look quite good in the video, and the still shots that I would get would also go in the video. Now, I do have another item to put on the turntable to give you a better idea of what we might be looking at in a moment or two. So I've just taken a few shots of that particular item as it's gone round on the turntable. Now then, what I'm going to do is just turn this turntable off for a second. Now, I can do one of two things. I can either take continuous photographs of it on the turntable as it is. Obviously, the turntable in this case has not been covered in anything. It's still white. So if you did have a turntable, you may want to just create out of a piece of sheeting some white material, a cover, for want of a better word, that would fit around it so that as it was turning you were still getting the white background. Or you may be using a black background, so it wouldn't really matter. This background on this turntable does reflect the light, so it wouldn't be one that I would normally use unless I got a matte cover on the top of it, which would normally be a piece of material. And obviously what I want to do is create good quality photographs of my item, and I want people to be able to see what they're purchasing. So that item is now switched on and live. So what I'm going to do now is get a couple of close-ups. I'm going to do it this other way because I'm creating a shadow there which we don't want to see across the item. So here I'm able to get a fairly good close-up, and you'll see this on the video with all of the lights illuminated on the dial. Now, I'm doing it on this purely because it is a small item, so that you can get the understanding of what we have actually got. Let's get those lights illuminated again. Now, I've got it slightly tilted at an angle so that I can get the best shot. I just need to iron out the creases behind. A couple of creases there. And I can see on that shot that that is going to come out quite nicely. Again, these photographs you'll see in a moment or two. And then I've got one with it switched off. Now, on the back there may be some instructions or something like that, so you may want to take a photograph of the back of the item. This has been quite well used, so I only bought it last week and it's already got some marks on it. Having said that, it has been out and about and been quite well used. So you take a photograph of the back. Now, if you were selling this as a second-hand item, because it's got marks on it, you would actually point those marks out. But in my case, it's just through use. So that gives you an idea of what you might be looking at. And again, we have the box. So you might want to take a picture of the item with the box. Let's just set that up. You do want to do this type of thing with the thought in mind that the customer is going to make a purchase on what they see, as well as your description. At some point they're going to read your description, but they're also going to buy your picture first or your video first. So you do want to get good quality. You want to make sure that things line up, and I'm doing this very, very quickly. I take quite a long time in actually putting photographs together when I'm doing this type of thing. So I can take up to half an hour to get one photograph that I'm happy with. You might be better at photography than me and only take a few minutes, but I do take quite a bit of time. Now, let's say we've got some information on the back, so we've got the serial numbers, and that might be important. This might be important information that you've got to give out to a customer, so you might want a shot of that. Now that has come through and I can read that quite clearly. I can read the barcode number, so I've got everything there that I would need to actually take things forward if it was relevant to the sale. Now, as you can see, I've got quite close to the box to do that, so that camera has done a very good job for me on that basis. Now, let's just swap the item over a moment, and let's assume we've got something like that. So I've got my telephone system here, and again, that's something that is a recent purchase. So I'm going to get a photograph of that. Now, on this particular one, I've got some light at the back, and you're going to see that. I'm leaving that there. You've got a reflection of the light that I'm using to light the area up. Now, what you would do is you would remove that. So you would alter your light, and it's coming out in this particular area here. You're going to see that on the photograph in a moment. So you'd want to eliminate that light as best as you possibly could, so that you've got a proper photograph of the box. Now also, I've brought across one of the items out of the box, which is the handset. So I might want to take a photograph of the handset, and let's say I want to do it on its own, so that the customer can see exactly what they are purchasing. And obviously some of these photographs we will edit, and I will show you how to edit them in a little while. Now I've got a shadow at the back of that, which doesn't really bother me too unduly, but you might want to look at where your shadows are and whether they're detracting from the actual quality of the photograph that you're going to end up with for the customer. And then I might want a close-up. And I've got light in there, so I will need to adjust it so that I remove the reflection where I can. And again, because I've got this set up with a video and I'm trying to show you what's happening, I'm not going to be able to do the whole removal of the light in this circumstance, and I might want to take a photograph of the keypad and the numbers. I'm going to turn that to get a bit more light on it. So the photograph is going to be the shadow is going to be right behind it, and you'll see that I've got some light on it as it stands at the moment. So I would look at moving my light source slightly. So that I can get a better shot without all of that light there. So you have to play around with your lighting, your light source, your equipment to get the actual shots that you need and that you want to demonstrate your product at its best. So as you can see, I've moved around the light a little bit there. So that is quite easily done in taking photographs of your product. Now I'm going to just go and get one other item. So I'm going to pause this. There are going to be times when you need to do things in a different way. So as you can see, I've got our friend here, the calf, or my friend the calf, and I need a little bit more white space to take his photograph. So what I would do is I would find the spot for him, and I would take some photographs of him here. And I might just reposition him slightly, get a different angle, get his face in there nicely. so that I'm picking out some of the detail. Now bear in mind that I'm doing this as I'm talking to you on the camera, and normally I would have a studio setup. I'd be taking a lot more care and attention to the detail that I'm trying to create and the image that I'm trying to create for what my seller is hopefully going to say, "Isn't that nice? I want to buy one, please." So you'll see some of these pictures. Now again, something like this, I might want to bring my turntable across, and I may want to have my turntable switched on and put my friend on here, and I might want to just let him spin around a little bit with the background in place. And as I said before, it may be a case that I want to get lots of photographs and put them onto a little video so that people can get a really good idea of the purchase that they're making. And as I said, the turntable would normally be disguised or covered, so you wouldn't actually see it, but you would get enough photographs going through that you could then turn around and say, "That's good, that's nice, I'll have that one." We're going to move on to doing some quick editing. So this is to give you the idea. For us to do a full day of proper setup photography, well, it would be a full day. You know, for us to do it correctly and make sure we're coming away with proper, really good images, it's one of our day courses. So you can always look at taking the opportunity to go onto one of our courses where we do it and we're creating the professional photographs in a really good environment with everything in place, rather than as we're doing it here, which is doing it in a way that I can record it and send it out to you as a video as hints and tips and ideas. But I'm going to talk you through how to do and play around with some of these photographs in a moment or two. So I've got a few of him. Now obviously, as I said before, you have some issues of the lights. So what you might do is you might use the light tent. The idea behind the light tent is quite simple. You put your tent in place and you will put your item inside the tent. There we go, mister. So you put your item inside the tent, and then what you would do is move your lighting equipment around accordingly. You can do this with ordinary lights. You don't have to go to the lengths that I have. You also, with these light tents, you'll get a cover on the front with a little slit in the front there, so you just point your camera in. And obviously you can backlight, forward light, side light. You can get lots and lots of different angles and corners by using these types of light boxes, and I would certainly recommend purchasing a small one like this. Something like this will probably cost you about £40 on eBay or Amazon as a tent, and you will probably get 4 or 5 different background colours as well. So you can see the power of something like this. You've got it nice and dark, or you've got it nice and light, but you're not going to have that shining light effect which we had on one of the boxes earlier. I'll just put that back in there so that you can see what I mean. If I put that box in there, now I have got a box which is not shining the light back. If you remember before, we had a corner here which was shining light. I've now got it in a light box. I've got the light focused on it. I no longer have the shining light. So what I'm going to do is take a photograph of my friend in here as he is now. So if I take our friend out of here Be careful with him because he's breakable and fragile. And if I put this into here, now what you're going to see now is a complete difference in the shot. And the fact that I'm using the light box means that I have now got good quality light, and of course I can angle that light in lots of different areas. So I can have lights coming from the side, I can have lights this side, I can have lights from above, and if I needed to I could have lights from the back, but the chances are I wouldn't need to do that. The ones from the side or from above should be sufficient. So that gives you an idea of the type of things that you can get to use to actually make your studio work. So what I'm now going to do is pull that in. These are the things that we have used today. One of those, and I've used the turntable, and I've used my light kit. So what I have got here for you is a quick photograph of the equipment that I have used, just so you've got the idea of what I've done. And that's all you need to do. A few things like that will get you up and running and get you started. Decent little camera. If you do want to use video and you want to use video which makes it look realistic, then use a video camera. But in a moment I'm going to show you how to make your still photographs into little videos.
One of the systems that I use for putting photographs together and editing photographs is a free bit of software. I do have several bits of software, but this is one that's quite useful, and it's a free download, so very useful from that point of view. And it's called Photoscape. So www.photoscape.org is the website, and you should come up with this type of picture as it is at the moment, and then just click on free download, and as simple as that. So as you can see, it will bring you to the next page and it will say thank you for downloading, and you can then just go ahead and launch it, and then I'm going to show you how to use it with a couple of photographs. Here I am at the main page of Photoscape. So the first place I'm going to go is to the editor. So I'm going to click on the editor, and I'm going to find the file that I want so that I can start editing the photographs. Now I've already found my file, and it'll always be in here somewhere. So here are a number of the photographs that we took earlier, which I've downloaded onto the computer, saved them in a file, ready to go. I'm going to amend one of the first ones for you just so that you can see how easy this is to do. So let's start with one of these. Now in this one you've got a really good view of the actual product itself. You've got quite a bit of white space behind it. So what I would want to do here is just probably crop it down a little bit. So let's just remove some of the white space so that when you have got the photograph in front of the customer, they are seeing everything. So I would crop that there, and in fact I might just take that out a little bit. Whoops. Let's go back in and do that again. There we are. I just wanted to get over the edge of that. So Photoscape is quite a good little tool. You can go in, you can crop it, and as I said before, there's lots of others out there as well. So crop that one, and I would want to save it. And at this moment in time I'm just going to save it as it is with the image number. I'm not going to change anything, and I'm purely doing this from the training point of view, because in a few moments time I'm going to tell you about another one of my favourite topics, keywords and saving photographs with those. But let's just save that with that for now. So that has saved that image for me in the folder, and I have resized it. Now let's go and have a look at one of the others where I've got quite a lot of background. Right, let's have a look at that one. So I've got far too much white space here, and I need to make this one look a little bit more decent. So again, I'm going to crop this one, and I'll probably crop it to something like that. And again, as regards to what we're doing here now, I'm doing this very, very quickly. When I'm doing them in reality for my own website, I'm spending a little bit more time checking that I've got everything right and making the photographs right. So this is purely for the purposes of this particular tape. So let's crop it, might help if I do that. And there we go, that is done. So I can now save that. And as I said before, we'll come back to saving things in a moment. Let's have a look at one of my friend here. We'll have a look at this one. Nope, let's go back one, sorry. That one, there we are. So again, this one's not too bad. There's not a lot to take out. There's a lot of space here, but I would still like to trim it down a little bit because I could then get rid of part of the turntable. So again, as I said before, the turntable would probably be disguised quite nicely. Take him out, and it's your own judgment on how much white space you leave or whether you come over. Some people clip off the end of products, things like that, and it looks perfectly fine. Some people don't. Some people like to have the whole product in view. It's an 80-20 rule. 80% of the picture should be of the product. 20% and no more than that should be of the white space. But again, I can crop that and I can save it and save as. Now obviously when I'm doing things like this, I can also look at using other parts of the editing system. So I can go in here, and it may be that I want to resize it. So at the moment this one's quite big, so I probably want to resize that one down, and let's say I'm going to do 800 by 600. So I might want to resize that one, and that will take it down a little bit. Again, you will choose your own sizing. Now don't forget, rough rule of thumb, a minimum of 500 by 500. Once you start going up to the levels of 3000, 4000, it's obviously going to take a little while for those pictures to be uploaded. So you may want to juggle them about. I tend to go for around about 800 by 800. That is a good size as far as I'm concerned. Some people do 500 by 500. eBay's minimum is 500 by 500. Amazon, they really want them to be a minimum of that and upwards. So anywhere around the 1000 mark is pretty good. So you might want to resize them. Now obviously you can also use some brightness tools. So these are things you can play about with. I'm not going to go into these in depth. These are the sort of things we'd go into in depth when we're on the course on how you can make other adjustments to your picture. But we don't have the time on the webinar to go into these in that amount of detail. And you know, you can do all sorts here. Sharpen the effects. You can filter things out. There's loads of tools in here. It's a great little piece of kit. Again, you've got objects, if you want to put objects in there, which in most cases you wouldn't. And you've got other tools here, red eye, mole removal. Well, I don't think my my little cap's got any moles at the moment, but you get the idea. You've got a paintbrush in there as well, so if you've got an area that's got a bit of a mark on it, you can go into your paintbrush and you can obviously, I'll do one here just for the fun of it now, I can obviously paint out an area if I wanted to, quite easily like that. And then obviously I might go in and think, oh, I don't want that colour, so we'll go back for white, and I can whiten the area out. And of course, if you've got a photograph that you really want to sharpen up, you could actually go out and you could obviously sharpen it up by painting it, or use Adobe Photoshop and let it work on an automated system. They're all there for you to use. I'm literally just showing you that these tools are available if you need to use them so that it can help you sell your product. So if you wanted a bigger white background, then obviously you could go into a tool, something like that, and you could do that quite easily. And then, as I say, if you're using Photoshop or one of the other paid for tools, chances are you're going to get far better results than a free tool. But you get the idea, you can see what can be achieved, and that is the point of this webinar, is to show you what you can achieve. And then obviously if you want to take it to the next stage, well, we can talk about that as well. And you know what, I'm going to save this so that it comes through on one of the videos. So I'm going to save that as that, and I'm just going to put a V1 on it just for my reference. Now I'm coming on to that side of it in a little while, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to edit some of those photographs, and we will have a look at some of them as we move them into a video scenario. So I shall be back in a moment or two. Now I've preloaded this with 4 items here. Now before I combine it, there's something else I want to quickly talk about, and it's on one of my favourite topics, and most of you know that one of my favourite topics is keywords. Now when you take a photograph on a camera, so that one there, you take that photograph and the camera has given it a reference number. Now that could be JPEG 123456, it could be PNG, GIF, whatever it is, it will have a reference number that the photograph has given it or the computer has given it. Now when you save it, and you save it with that number, what have you got? When it comes to Google or something else searching it, you've got a reference number. Who is going to search for your reference number? So you know where I'm going with this, don't you, folks? I'm going straight to tell you, change the title to keywords. So here, I might have just saved it as something completely different. And again, another mistake is they save it with the name of a folder. So they'll save it as AA Photoscape, say, for the folder, and they might have AA Photoscape 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc, etc. But again, they're not keywords. So if I was selling this as a product, and I'm going to move to this one, and let's say this was my first listing, I would have this one perhaps as hair clips, bows, hair bands. Yep, and those may be my keywords. I can have as many keywords in here as I want. So I would use top quality, rich keywords on my photographs so that I could save them properly. So that would be what you would do on the individual photograph. You would save it, and then if I go to this photograph here, you can see hair clips, bows, hair bands 1, or you might want to do ABC 1 or pink 1 or whatever it is. You can have as many keywords in that as you want, because don't forget, when you send those keywords out by using the photographs and uploading the photographs directly off your computer into eBay or Amazon or whatever platform you're using, your own website, those are part of the search. They will help your search rankings and your searching. So you need to use them. Use the keywords in the photographs, and then just put the reference. It may be an SKU code, it may be a number, it may be a letter, alpha, numeric, whatever. Do that. So I just wanted to do that for you to show you what I would look at doing. So now what I'm actually going to be doing with these is I'm going to be combining them together. So what I actually want to do is go in, I want to select all of my photographs. I'm going to drag them across, and I've now got a choice. So I've got them in here. Now that is as one long line of photographs all joined together. Can you see why I cropped it? As I just wanted to reduce the white space so that they could crop quite nicely. I may want to go side by side. So click on side by side here, and it will give me the run of them side by side. Obviously you can use the slider here so you can get a better idea. and crop it down, or because I'm using 4 photos, I might want to go in the checkerboard type scenario. So that might be a little bit too busy, so you might just use 2 and 2. But there you see I've just created an image of 4 photographs put together quite easily and quite nicely so that you can use those on your listings. So now I'm going to save those, and it's going to give me the option of what I want to save them as. So here I'm obviously going to want to save them as hair clips, bows, headbands, and for my reference I might just put comb, why not, for combined 1. Save, high quality, yes, and again obviously you can change what you're saving them as, which order you want them. You can set the different sizes of the pictures. You can do all sorts of things in here, so it's something that you can actually play around with and that you can actually use for yourself. So if I go across to my folder over here, bring that back in again, you'll see that that has now saved it straight into my folder as the what I wanted, clips, hairbands, comb 1, and I have got 1 picture there that I can use, and I can use that quite nicely either as the main picture for my products to show my products are there and available and that there are different styles and different patterns, so it's catching the eye, or I could use it as an internal picture in eBay, maybe the main body of the text. On Amazon it may be part of the suite of photographs. On your own website it may be part of the suite of photographs, or it may be that you use that particular photograph in the video type of scenario that you put together to actually play YouTube, through to eBay, through to your website, onto Pinterest, onto Etsy, and wherever else that you're sending them, Facebook, Twitter, and all the rest of it. So there you are, very quick guide, but I think very essential for you to have this little bit of a tool. There are others out there. This is just the one that I tend to use because it's user friendly, it's easy. If I can do it, you can do it, and I've just shown you the steps on how to do it. So very easy, worth having a play, spending an hour or 2 playing around with it. Brilliant, couple of minutes, and I've actually just created a nice photograph, a collage of product, and I can utilize that, and of course that would stand out because that particular one is very bright and colourful. So there we are, that's a little bit about Photoscape, and we'll move on. Now we're going to have a little look at videos. So I use something called Animoto for some of my video, and this is where I'm creating video for perhaps eBay and Amazon, and I want to be a little bit more creative. So this is the name, Animoto, ANIMOTO.com. There is a free version which will give you up to 30 seconds of adverts, and there are also paid versions as well which have different monthly and annual rates. What I would do is start off with the free version and then move on to the paid version if you wish to, and if you like it. I absolutely love it, and most of the people I talk to and have dealt with over the period of time on video has loved it also. So what you'll do here is log in, and I'm already logged in here, and then you will decide what theme you want. You've got plenty of themes in there, popular, pro, executive, and you've got all. Now some of the themes obviously are for the paid for service and others are for the free service, but you've got plenty to choose from to make a real difference on your videos. So I will go with this one, Rustic. I think this one's quite nice, so we'll have that one through into my working page, and now that's going to ask me to load the photographs. So what I'm going to do here is load the photographs of the calf. So it's literally find them, drag and drop. Now I've resized all of those to 800 by 800. That's for my purposes, and Animoto quite likes that size, 800 by 800, so it's a good size for you to be. And when it's uploaded, it will tell you how much of the upload you've used, and it will also change up here in a moment to tell you how many seconds you've used. So that's 25 seconds. So that's probably about right. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 photographs. Now what I would do is I might drop one of the photographs and add some text, but let's add some text anyway. And my name is Little Calf. I am looking for a new home. Okay, so I might put that in there, and that's come up there. So let's say I want that as the second picture that goes in. I might want another piece of text as well. Please buy me today. Yeah, so a call to action would be, please buy me today. I am ready and waiting. You get the idea. I'm just doing this a little bit tongue-in-cheek, so you get the idea. You'd put some form of call to action, a reason to do something. So now you can see I've gone up to 34 seconds. So if I'm only using the free version, I would want to drop back one. I'm obviously using a paid version, so I'm quite happy to go a little bit further. So let's say I think that's quite a nice picture. I might want to duplicate it. So let's have that towards the end, and let's have that towards the beginning, and let's see what else have we got. Let's say that's quite a nice looking picture. Let's duplicate that. Oops, there we are, duplication, and let's put him at the front. So I've now created an extra little bit. Now if I want to change the style to something else, I can click here and change the style. If I'm not happy with the music, I can go in, there's a full music library for me to choose from, and I can choose whatever I want. There's indie rock, house, instrumental, oldies, jazz, pop, romantic, singer-songwriter, etc, etc. And this is all royalty free, so you are fully at liberty to use it within the Animoto video. So now I've created my initial part of the video. Now I need to go over here to the settings. In the settings, I want my title. So if I'm going to be putting this, let's say, in eBay or on my website, I want my title to be keyword rich. Treat this video title as you would the title bar of your listing in your shop, in Amazon, on eBay, play.com, Etsy, Pinterest, etc, etc, etc. This is keywords. This is all about keywords, and you'll see why in a moment. It is literally all about keywords. Then obviously you can put in the date, whatever date you want in there, and over here you can put in your description, and your description is your sales page basically. And when I say that, it is the information about the item that you're selling. If you're selling a product, or if you're selling a range of products, it'll be information about the range that you are showing off with this video, because this one video may not just be for one item as it is here. It may be for a range of products, or it may be for your shop. So you need to put in a description there which is relevant to your sales page, to your item listing. It may be your item listings and variations, and it may be to your business. So you need to put data in there. But if nothing else, this also needs to have some keywords in it. So you need to be looking at your keyword strategy again, and you need to be adding some keywords, both primary and secondary keywords will go into here. You will put both. So let's save that. Happy with that. And then I'm going to produce my video. So here we are, my keywords are here, the date would be optional, it can go in there, and it will generate a preview for me, and then I can just watch the preview and decide if I want to go and produce the video in full. Now what I tend to do is I normally go and skip the preview and create the video in full, and the reason I normally do that is because I can go back into it and edit it and make it different if I want to. But here we are. See what I mean? It's really, really good. The way the picture quality is coming over, I would be saying, yes, I'm happy with that, so let's go and produce. So that's going to work away now in the background, and that is going to produce the video so that it is ready to be listed on a website. Now, whether it's your website, whether it's eBay, whether it's Amazon, wherever it may be, you have some choices coming up in a moment when we've gone past this stage on what you want to do with it. So you can see a preview of it. Let's get rid of that. You can go to email, you can put it onto Facebook, you can put it onto Twitter. So all of the things that you need to do to get your video out there is already there for you. You've just got to link your accounts. Simple as that. You can send it directly to YouTube. You can embed it in your website. You know, and you can upgrade to HD, because if you're using a free version you won't be HD, and you can download it onto your own computer if you wish to do that. Now, for the purposes of what we're doing, we would be wanting to put it onto YouTube. So you would just link your account to YouTube and it would export away, and eventually we will find it in YouTube, and we will come to that in a moment or two. I'm also going to download it for my own purposes so that I can add it in to what we're doing here. And there we go, that's downloading onto my computer and it is ready to go. So how many of you would like to buy my little calf? I'm sorry, he is mine and he's not for sale. But you get the idea of what we're looking at. How easy was that to do in putting that video together? It was an absolute piece of cake. So all you've got to do is go on to Animoto, create your video. So as you can see, we're now on the YouTube channel and it's already uploading, and you can see that it's uploaded with keyword rich, all about the keywords, part of the title, and also a little bit about the description. So it's already working away. Now obviously on here you would want to have a look and think about where are your tags going to be. So let me just open this in a new tab here, just so as you can see. There we are, it is processing, it's there, and it isn't fully live yet because it's still uploading, because this is live as we're doing it. So down here, this is where you want to be changing things. The title here needs to be keyword rich, that needs to be your title from there. So again, on this particular part you want to have this as being whatever title that you have in your sales page. If your eBay sales page is full of keywords there, that's what you want in there. If you're selling it on your website, you want it in there. If you've got it on Pinterest, you want it there. You want whatever your keywords are here in your title for people to find it there. And right at the top of the description, you actually want to have your website. or your sales page, or wherever it's got to go, you actually want to have, and it needs to be http:// and then www. and I'll put h2so.org for now. It needs to have your website address, and it must have the HTTP code at the very beginning. That is crucial, because when you actually look at the video, I'll just save those changes. When you actually then look at the video, you can see that HTTP has become a link to my website. So if I'm selling that particular product on one of the sales channels, it would take it straight through to your sales page, or it would take it through to your shop, or it would take it through to your category. You decide what you want that to be, but that is a vital piece of real estate, that little bit there where you have that description. So keyword rich, make sure you've got it in there, and then obviously what you've also got to do when you're editing it is you've got to have some tags in here as well. So let's say you're selling on eBay, then you're going to have some tags down the bottom here for argument's sake, eBay. You're going to have I don't know, calf for sale. You know where I'm coming from here, folks. It's all about the keywords. It's all about getting things in front of people. So you're going to use a lot of tags in here to get there. Now this little space here for the description, going back to that description there needs to be part of your sales page. It needs to have information in there about your product, your business, your service, whatever it is you're offering. You need to have that type of information in here. Now don't just duplicate the same thing on every video that you create, because that's not going to really excite Google and the spiders and the bots and everything. They're going to crawl all over it. But make sure that you're putting relevant information in there. Make sure that you're putting contact details in here, and always remember the first few lines. Let's go back to one of these here. Actually, let me just save the changes there before I do that. Always remember to save changes. These are the things that you're going to see first. This gives you an idea. That is your selling space. This little bit of space here, that is what people see first. So you've got between 3 and 4 lines, then you can go show more. So in here you need to have your website, you need to have a sales description. You don't want my name is Fred and I'm about to blah 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 blah. What you want in here is something that's going to hook me, that's going to grab me, that's going to pull me in to actually look a little bit more and actually see what it is that I'm supposed to be dealing with or doing. You actually want that type of call to action here. And then further down here you can put in other information if you want to, as in contact phone number, email address, etc, etc. Now there's a couple of schools of thoughts. Some people say to have it here where it's automatically there. Now what I would say is, if you have your email address, so if you want to know more information, send an email to inquiries@h2so.org. That gives me a reason to click away and not click to the sales page and make the purchase. That gives me a reason to come and ask you a question. Do I want to give you that reason to come and ask me a question? I'm quite happy to put my details under here where they cannot be seen right at the top, because that way I'm making a statement that here's my item, it's for sale, it's absolutely great, and to actually buy it, click here. So I'm driving people to my sales page. I'm not giving people a reason to click away. Don't know whether that makes sense or not. There are two schools of thought. Some people say no, you should have, and other people, me included, say you do not give people a reason to click away, you give people a reason to buy, and that is what you're trying to do. So as you can see, this is still uploading onto YouTube. Once it's uploaded onto YouTube, what you would then be able to do is go to the share button here and collect your embedded code. Now you need the old code. This is very, very important. I tend to untick that box. You would want to use the old code. You're going to copy and paste all of that, and then you're going to put that HTML code into your eBay listing. It is that simple. Okay, so now we're in eBay, we're on a basic sales page, and you understand the layout of this. Same principle applies to whatever listing you're doing it on. As far as I'm concerned, this is the easy way to do it. So you'll go down to where you're going to put your details. So your details in here are going to be something along the lines of little calf looking for good home. Now obviously on this, all I'm doing is this to show you how to actually put the data in. I'm not doing this as I would if it was a professional listing. So buy me today, willing to travel. Okay, just something in there to get us going. So then you switch to HTML, and what you've got to do is you've got to put that data into here. Now I know what you're thinking, where does it go? Because I don't know anything about HTML. That's a piece of cake. Little calf looking for a good home. So let me do this. Put some X's in there. Switch it back to HTML. There's my X's. So I've already copied that link I showed you. So I highlight my X's, and I go paste, and I switch it back to standard, and there is a video ready to go. It's not ready yet, but it's ready to go. So as you can see, I'm actually going too quick for YouTube at the moment. I think that's brilliant. But that's how you would embed your code into your eBay listing, your website listing, whatever else you want to do. You don't have to be a HTML wizard. Just use a line of X's, go in, find that line of X's or Z's or whatever you want it to be, and find that row, and then highlight them, copy, paste. As simple as that. So there we are, folks. That is how to load a video and make a video very, very quickly to make it look good and stylish to go into your system. Isn't that brilliant? It really is. And of course, the other thing you can do is look at other things that we've done. So here's another one in Animoto, and you can see what I mean about using some keywords in the title. Wall clock, top quality fuse, glass designer, wave, wall clock, two different ways of spelling wall clock, home office, bedroom, kitchen, etc, etc. And with this, it was a few pictures that we took, a little bit of music, and the same thing. Now you can see how we took those pictures. Now I wasn't using a professional studio today. I was using my kitchen work surface with a white backdrop, a very large sheet, which is a photography sheet, decent camera, a bit of light. So you don't need a professionally kitted out studio, but you just need a good place where you can actually work and do the job properly, you know. So it is that easy. So to do an Animoto video like that, that is absolutely brilliant, and it's easy enough to do. Now of course, what I'm next going to show you is the other side of the Animoto video. Now I'm not going to go into this in massive detail. If I get enough people coming to me that say, hey, we would love a course on this, then I will put one together. But this is what I've used to put the videos on that you have been watching today. So here are all the bits and pieces that I have used, and this is something called Camtasia. If you're a PC user, Camtasia is great. If you're a Mac user, you probably would use ScreenFlow. I'm not a Mac user, I use PCs, I prefer my PCs. So everything you have seen on that video that you were watching earlier on, I have actually been working at and populating all day today. And here it is. Here is the timeline for it. And you can see the amount of content that is in here, the amount of work that has gone in to deliver that video for you. You can just see why it took so long to render, because it's not normally quite as in-depth as that. So all of the pictures have gone in individually after they've been tweaked on the software. I've already forgotten it, Photoscape. After they've been tweaked on Photoscape. Again, there's other software out there as well that you can use. You don't just need to use Photoscape. But, you know, Photoscape is a good enough one, and it's free to start with. So there's all the pictures from Photoscape. You know, they're all there. This is all drag and drop type technology, and there's some audio that's gone in. There is some videos that have been made that have gone in. There's more videos up here that have gone in. There's all sorts of bits and pieces that have gone in, and then they've all been fused together, and we've used some transitions, we've used some audio. If I wanted to, I could go into my library here and I could use some themes. So if I wanted to put a theme in there, I could do that and have a theme, and I could put titles in. So there's lots of things that we can do with video in this. Now, if you think about this for your product, there is no reason why you don't take video or still photographs, because all these photographs here are still photographs. There is no reason why you don't take perhaps 10 photographs of your product 360 degrees, so that you've got a slight variation each time, and you put them into something like this. You can do a voiceover if you want to, because you have voice narration. So you can put a voiceover in here if you want, quite easily. Just start recording and you start talking. You can put call outs, so if you want to, and you may have seen some of the stuff that we've done where in fact, if you look at the Photoscape where you'd got the red writing, photoscape.org, and the circle that came in, that's this. It's here. So this is something else that you can use by putting them into a timeline and creating a video. So you won't have all the nice fluffy stuff that Animoto gives you, but this will be a straightforward video that you will be in total control of and you will produce. So that is what you have been watching for the last few minutes whilst I was working today, putting all of this together ready for the webinar tonight. All of the information is in here, and it's this great big file. And this is about 2 days work, in all honesty, and to render it took a long time. So there we are. It's really easy to do as long as you know how. And as you can see, whilst I was doing these, I was putting all of the pictures up in the corner after I've taken them. So what looks a bit of a mess there, you can't see it, actually turns out to be an okay picture up here. Yeah, so quite nice and easy to use this type of system. Going back to the library again, if I wanted music, I could put some music in, and I could have music on top of any of the video, and the music that is provided is also royalty free, and you can get a lot more royalty free music as well. And you can increase the volume up and down as you want to. That is all there for you, so that will move the volume lines up and down. You can tweak and tidy up your voice and your audio. You can do clicks and things like that. You'll have noticed how my voice changes from using one microphone to another microphone system, and that microphone I was using whilst I was recording was a lapel mic, so that was picking up my breathing patterns very rapidly. The microphone I'm using now is a headset with a great big fluffy ball on the end, and that isn't picking up the breathing patterns, and I sound totally different. So you can tell when I've swapped from one side to another. So this is something that is called Camtasia, Camtasia is not a free download. You can get a free trial version. The trial version is a trial version, and you will get removed from it once you have completed the trial. Animoto, you can obviously use the free version, but Camtasia, you're going to have to pay for it, and I think from memory it's about $200-300, something like that. So you know, 180 to 250 pounds, purely depending on which package you buy and what bits and pieces you buy, because I also use something else called Snagit, and I'll show you Snagit. Snagit actually will do this. I'll take a picture of that, and what it will then do is it will give me that picture here. So that is it, that is my picture, and then I can go and save that if I want to as a JPEG. So save as, and I can save it wherever I want to in my system as a JPEG image, and then of course I can start playing with the image and the size of it. So I can even copy images off the computer using that. Now there is another version, a free version of Snagit, and I can't remember what it's called. Oh, Jing, J-I-N-G. Write that one down if you want to, J-I-N-G, Jing. I'll stick that on a sticky note for you now so that it comes across. Jing, if you just search for Jing, there we go, that should be on the screen for you there. Jing will actually take photographs off your screen in the very same way that I've done here. It will just give you something like that. You just drag it across wherever you want it to go, whatever bit you want, whether it's a small bit, whether it's a big bit, it's totally up to you, and that's it. It's captured the image, again, done another one there, and then you can just go File, Save As, or you've got lots of other little tools here. Now on this one, this is Snagit, this is a paid version, I have more tools, so I can go and I can say, right, I want to put an arrow here, I want to put a different type of arrow in here, I want a squiggly arrow here, so I can have all sorts of things as I want to, in different places, in different ways, in different shapes and things like that. So there's lots and lots of stuff that you can do with Jing, and also with this particular one that I use, which is called Snagit, and they're all by TechSmith. That is the name of the company that produces Jing. And the other one is, let's put that in as well, Snagit. So Jing is free, Snagit you pay for, and it is done by a company called TechSmith. And TechSmith also do Camtasia. So if you are going to invest, then there we go. So Jing, Snagit, TechSmith, they are the things that you need to be looking for to get. Jing free, Snagit paid for, TechSmith is the name of the company, and Camtasia is made by TechSmith, and they will charge you a couple of $100 to $300. And again, it depends which package. I think I bought Snagit and Camtasia together. I've had them for a long time now. You only buy it once. I've never had to buy anything again. It's not an annual renewal or anything like that. So from my point of view, I have had fantastic money's worth out of it. So again, if you don't want to use Animoto because you don't like the way the photographs come through, I actually quite like the way Animoto works. I think having this type of scenario, it just gives it something. It gives it a bit of attention when somebody's looking at it. It is not just another video. There's something behind it, and you can change it and you can make it look a bit different. You can put the writing in there yourself, you know. And these are all products that you know, I've sold. These are products, these are photographs that I have taken. So I know how it all works, and we used to sell loads of these. This particular company doesn't import those glass items in anymore, and because they were glass, they were breakable, so we had quite a high breakage rate if we didn't use the right courier. But if I didn't want to use that type of scenario, which I really like, I can use this here, which is what you've just been watching now, which is everything going on there. Upgrade to HD, because if you're using the free version, you won't be. Let's get rid of that one. And you can download it onto your own computer. Here, obviously, that is me just talking to you earlier. You would have been able to have listened to what was going on. And I can edit, I can cut bits out, I can put bits in, I can chop it and change it, I can do whatever I want to do to it at any time, so that I can get it as I want to. So you can see that was 58 minutes of video. That 58 minutes took 2.5 hours to render, and that has taken nearly 2 days to produce. So there's an awful lot of work putting into something like that, with all the background work that goes into it as well. So there we are, that's some more bits and pieces there. Now, when you are looking at lighting, you got an idea of what I've got. I've got a couple of those big lamps, the one that you saw on the system. So I've got 2 of these, and I've got a big screen. Now this is just out of Google, so you can tell there's absolutely hundreds of different things there. So I've got a big screen behind me, and I've got the big sheets that you can use. I've got a light deflector somewhere. I've got something else, one of these type of things here, where I've got a great big A-frame where, oh, there we go, there's a good way of looking at it. So I've got something like that as well. So if I want to take photographs of big stuff like bikes, for argument's sake, I could do that. And I've got those lights that I showed you up here, this type here. I've got 2 of them. You know, they are readily available. You can find them on Amazon, you can find them on eBay, you can find them in the independent stores. They're absolutely easy to find. They're no problem to get hold of at all, and they're not that expensive. Now you can go one of 2 ways. You can either go and purchase something like a package. So this is one of these small light boxes. That's a fairly normal package, probably 50-60 pounds, something like that, and you'll have 2 lamps. One will go in from the side, one will go in from that side, so you've got 2 lots of lights going in at the side to get the effect that you need on the product, and it's removing any shadows. And then of course, as I said to you earlier, you'd normally get a front cover for this, and there'll be a little slit in there so that you could position your item. And again, because I was doing it for a video purposes, I didn't have time to get all of the positions because we were working in real live time. You'd spend 5-10 minutes getting the absolute perfect shot, and you normally get, you know, 4 or 5 different background colors that you can use in the back of the light tent, and they just velcro on. So that's a fairly small one, probably, I don't know, between 40 and 60 pounds. Those ones there, square ones, again, look at the size of them. You can get, as I've said, these you can get them so that they are walk-in. They're absolutely giant size. So if you're selling clothes, adult clothes, and you want to get something that you can put a mannequin freestanding in, you can get something like that, and then you're looking at a couple £100 to get that type of thing. Obviously you need bigger lights and different lights, because obviously you've just got the height. Or you can go up to this type of level where you can be buying these things here. Now there is some fantastic stuff. Now these things here are what the professionals use. These are what your Tesco's, your Argos, your Amazon, your John Lewis, this is what they pay for. They will do something like that. When you look at that, just pure bright white light around that mug. Those machines start at around about 5k, around about 5 grand a piece. I was looking at buying one. And I was quoted £8,000 for the one that I wanted. I decided not to. But it gives you the idea of what else is out there. So you can go out and you can just, you know, start off with a few small bits, build a little bit. You'll possibly find some used product that's out there. You'll find lots of people selling kits like this in various different sizes. What I will say, if you're buying a light tent or a light box like this, make sure you understand the size, because it's all very well saying, oh, it's 50 centimeters by 50 centimeters by 40 centimeters, but if your product is 48 centimeters tall, it's not big enough. So it's just about knowing the types of products that you've got to the type of size that you're going to get. So like this one here, somebody's selling one here, 24 inches. 24 inches, what's that? That's about 50 centimeters. So, you know, what's the size of my goods? What type of goods am I putting in there? So using big stuff sometimes is just as good as using the small stuff. So there you go. That would be the sort of thing I'd be looking at doing. I'd have a light here, a light over that side. I might have a light on the top if I hadn't got enough top light, and I would have normally not had my head stuck in there, but I would normally have had the what's name round the front, so that I wasn't having any shadow going in if I had any background light behind me. You know, so you can get a good idea of where we are with all of that. Now, the cameras that I've got, the little camera that I use is on my desk here now, and that is a Canon, let me tell you what the model is. Mine is a Canon PowerShot SX200. I bought that probably 2 or 3 years ago, so it may have been superseded by now, and that is great because I had a lot of small items that I was taking photographs of. So I'd got a lot of jewellery and things like that. We'd got a lot of I'd bought a consignment of watches from a jewellery shop in Scotland that had gone bankrupt and into liquidation, so I needed something that would be able to get the detail of small items. So that was absolutely brilliant for that. And then the other camera that I got, which I use as a video camera and also a ordinary camera, and this is great for doing the big stuff, and this one is a Sony, and I can't remember the model number of this. Let's see if I can find it on the actual camera whilst I'm talking to you. It is the Sony A58. Now, the reason I've got the Sony A58, now that was a 300, 400 pound camera. Now the reason I've got that is because I can use video and it has a line in for a jack. So it's an expensive camera to take photographs. So you don't need anything as big as that. The reason I've got it is because it is great for video, makes good quality video. As you've seen, it takes good pictures, it automatically focuses and things like that, so it does really good pictures, but it is one of the cheaper ones that actually has a standard microphone jack that you can put on, so that I can actually wear a lapel mic rather than using the microphone that is inbuilt into the camera. So whenever we're doing any video takes, I've got that, and I can always put a line jack in, which means we can get better audio. So that is the reason that we use that, and that is the reason that I paid about 350 quid, whatever it was, for it, and I bought it from the high street retailer. So it depends what you want to do. If you're going to take shots of really small delicate items, so if you're going to be like here, like looking at watches and things like that, if you're going to be taking pictures of things like this, you want something that's going to pick up the detail, that's going to get behind that watch, going to pick up those little dials, it's going to pick up those numbers. You want that type of detail, and the same with the rings here. So you probably want to buy a camera like that Canon that I had got there. If you're taking photographs of big stuff, so there was a bike in here a moment ago, I think, wasn't there? If you were taking photographs of the bike, then something like that Sony, but probably a couple of models down where you haven't got the microphone jack, would be absolutely perfect. So where you're taking photographs of large stuff, that is great for taking distant photographs of large items and large products. So there we are. That's been a bit of a mammoth one tonight, and I would like to thank you for being there. It's been a really great, and this is a subject that I love, taking photographs and doing video, and I love sort of getting my hands dirty and getting behind the scenes. It's part of the job that I really do think is absolutely brilliant. And the one thing is, you've always got to remember, always, please remember this. The first thing that somebody sees, whether it's on Google and your photograph comes up on Google, or whether it is on eBay, Amazon, your website, the first thing they see is the photograph. So there we are. That's what I searched for on Google, photography light box kit, and this is what came up, and look what came up, a load of photographs first. How brilliant. Now, would that make me click in to have a look at those? Answer is yes. So there you go. Jewellery photography, £300. Very small light box. That would be great, and that one's obviously electronic and it's got the lights built in, so you've got pure white light all around in a sealed unit. That is fantastic. The one I was looking for, as I said, a lot more money than that. And you know, you've got people advertising now using photographs and also video, and here's one that is on a video. So you could click in there and you could go and say, right, let me have a look at this lighting kit, and away. Have they got any sound on there? Doesn't sound like it, does it? No, it's just pure video with no sound. I think I would voice over that and have some sound coming out. So can you see, it's going to give them pure white light and it's nicely lined. So again, if you've got small stuff, there are other things you can buy there. It really does depend on how much you want to spend and also invest, but also be sure of the products that you're going to sell first. Thank you very much. I know this has been a big one tonight for the video and the photography one, and I could go on for many more hours, and if we'd have covered it in a greater depth and greater detail, it's a minimum of a 1-day course. We are looking at doing a 2-day course, which we're going to put on in January, we believe, for video, and then I will be bringing in a resident expert who actually does some work for me now and again, and he'll be coming in and bringing a couple of people with him so that he can show you what it is all about. So there we are, folks. Thank you very much for your kind attention for this very long webinar. I do appreciate it. I hope that had some good hints and tips for you. If you've got any comments or questions, you know where to find me. Just drop me a line and I will come back to you as soon as I possibly can. Thank you very much. My name's Andrew Whitfield from How to Sell Online, and I look forward to speaking to you all again soon.